So Tennocon 2022 happened on Saturday. Tennolive 2022 is what we want to kind of talk about. And as the Warframe trailer plays, because may as well start it there, we have to mention the fact that they talked about crossplay and talked about they are going to start doing testing soon. But first, they have to basically sync everything else across console and PC. This, at the moment, basically comes down to Barrow, which means on the 29th, he will be doing a catch-up parody event, Paradox event, whatever it was actually called, which that's unknown at the minute, but more than likely means that Barrow for console will be bringing two halls at once. And then the hall he's supposed to be bringing. To kind of sync it up so Barrow will have on console the same as PC has. So they will be dropping the same things at the same time after July 29th, which is kind of good. It also means they will have to run I believe it's the reconstruction events for the relay. They literally skimmed over saying some platforms have different relays to others, so yeah, okay, start that now please, is all I had to say there. Running the event to rebuild the relays is something that everybody has been begging them to do for something like 4 or 5 years now. They keep going on about they haven't got this to do, they haven't got that to do, they haven't got the other to do. The event to rebuild the relay, they've done it once. All they have to do is run that event again and have it to a different relay. That's it. So the code, the everything, the imagery is all there. They just need to update a few things and set it live. And that would allow us to rebuild every relay we have lost. And then they can run an event to try and destroy them all again. But of course it would be cross-platform at that point, which makes it even easier for us to defend them. Then they go on about Warframe. There was the Warframe for the 50th frame, and it was just an image, so that's all I'm going to mention about it. I'm looking forward to reconstructing it. The coming soon cross-play test. Yeah, they're going to launch the cross-save in 2 different ways. It's going to be cross-play first, cross-save after, to make sure cross-play works before cross-save comes. Fine. I think I can go and say that is fine as long as they actually do something. What I didn't like kind of came, well, how do I put this? About the same time they started showing the Veilbreaker trailer. This annoyed me. If I'm 100% honest, seeing this trailer annoyed me. And this screamed of, oh, Duviri's not going to be ready when we think it is, so we're going to do something else, apart from one little thing that Rebecca says.
We are hoping that the Veilbreaker update is going to come out before the Duviri Paradox. We'll keep you posted on development updates, dev streams, but we're hoping you can get your hands on it this year.
That's right. Everybody, every single video I have seen since, and this is why I have purposely waited till now, nobody's really mentioning the fact that they are saying that Veilbreaker, they're hoping to get it out before the Duviri Paradox, hopefully this year. The trailer for the Duviri Paradox says it's coming winter 2022. So how can she turn around and say hopefully this year? It looks like Veilbreaker is going to be, well, we see Era in it. Era is back. Carl is back. There's a few other people who return as well that shouldn't be there, especially since the crystals that makes them complete is, I'm not going to say it, but let's just say massive new war spoilers. But one of the biggest things that I really did like that they do mention during the Duviri Paradox gameplay is the Duviri Paradox will not require you to have completed the new war before you can play it. This is another way or another explanation of the Drifter, which I liked because it's going to introduce the Drifter to people who haven't gone as far as to do the new war, because the new war is quite literally end game material, and this allows the Drifter to be known by people earlier on. Granted, certain aspects of it will make absolutely no sense, like, well, hopefully by this point, future me started playing the trailer and has synced it up, so that sword through the chest. Or basically anything else that happens from there onwards, because it's the Duviri Paradox people were watching it for. I instantly knew what that was as soon as it started coming down. There's only a handful of things in this game that are purple. And honestly, I thought it was her, not her hand. I'm obviously not going to say who it is, but if you have watched this, you can hear who this is, and you can tell who it is from. But again, that is spoilers for other things, so if you are going to be playing this prior to anything else, that's not going to be explained to you why you suddenly find a hand falling from the sky, or why there's suddenly a sword through you. But it was really, really good to finally find out who this is sitting in the seat. Dominus Thrax. I still think it's some kind of an Orokin something, but obviously we now know it's Dominus Thrax. That is who it is, and it turns out that this is the bad guy. But every time you die, Dominus Thrax kind of hits the throne and you are reset to where you come from. There is reasoning behind that they didn't mention in the slightest during this gameplay. So I'm not mentioning the fact that this is all going on inside of Dominus Thrax's head, hence the reason he can do that. No, I'm not going to mention that at all, because they didn't mention that during Tennocon, so technically I can, and it's not violating anything. I'll just mention that. But yeah, you can literally see Dominus Thrax's head and hands off in the distance, and I love the London. Kind of funny to name it after where Digital Extreme is, in London. London. Kind of lazy naming it there a little bit. But it's the fact the whole thing is in black and white and there's a little bit of colour here and there. Yeah, okay, I really kind of like this. I was expecting it to look weird and horrible, and the best way I can put it is meh. But then they do things like this. We now know what this giant worm is. They actually refer to it as a dragon several times. Or who that is would be great to know. We'll find that out shortly. But you can see there's kind of bluiness. We know for a fact that mask is blue because we've seen it. And Digital Extreme pulled their usual favoritism side of things, and we've seen it in real life as well. But I like this. From everything they show from this anyway. I will continue until we get to the horse, but every time you die, as you can see, it's resetting you. So obviously you're going to be able to find a path, and you now have voidy powers because you have a hand on your arm. Because, well, if I can, no, I'm not even going to attempt that. You can kind of make out he has just stuck the hand on his arm. I shouldn't have done that in the shadows. I do apologise. There it is. He's just stuck the hand on the arm on the hand, and it just looks straight up kind of weird. But it's what give him his abilities. Something that came from the void, but you're in the void. But you're not in the void. You're inside of a guy's head. At least that's how I heard it explained anyway. I'm just going to put it that way because I'm not sure if that is actually true or not. Because they didn't mention it. Hence, I shouldn't be mentioning it, but hell. I love the fact that, yeah, okay. Why didn't we see the wings there? But there are so many other questions that came from this. That doesn't look like the void. That's smoke off in the distance. And the better question is, why do these three guys on the left here refer to you as the king? The king, the king. There goes our honoured king. The Drifter's a king now, apparently. When did that become a thing? Oh, and the Zaramon is in the background in perfect colour the whole time. There are these things that add colour to the world. You can see everything around it is kind of now in colour. These totems are going to change this place, and hopefully that is how we are going to add colour back to this. And you now have, I do not know, some kind of wisp in front of you that is taking you to where your next waypoint is, as the London kind of flies around above you, right up until it takes you to see this guy. Bomberstein. We saw him in the preview event thing, and he looks like he's kind of a... That is, again, looks like that is an Orokin. What I did like the look of was this. Yep, if you understand, you understand, but at the same time, not going to mention it, but there's the mask, and you kind of have to get the other person to go into the... And then the mask starts to appear in the middle. You can see it floating above the table between you and other, is all I'm going to say. I like the fact that you have to choose your decree, and you basically have melee attacks have heat. You get a loyal Kaith, that is the name of the horse, that you can summon at any point. I think people are going to take that one. Or after dodge, void energy will burst around you, staggering enemies. Yeah, I think I would have to agree with what they did here. I'm going to go with the Loyal Steed every time, because it's going to be really handy for massive open world environments like this. Remembering this is all the void open world here. This is just the opening quest. Because having the ability to do, oh, I don't know, maybe a little bit of this is going to be stupidly useful for getting around this whole void open world. And see, it just put everything into colour for a split second there, but then it's kind of overtaken by the black and whitedness of it all. And to be fair, from here onwards, yeah, they stop and look at the perfect times for this. The arms are moving down towards the head, but pay attention to the head, because the head is actually turning as well. It's almost as if they're all attached to each other. Of course, these things, they're also your respawn point, which I really love the fact that they demonstrated by offing themselves. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but god damn, that was a great place to actually show it. I also like the fact that during Tennocon they had that whole throne behind them. It's just a shame that it was a digital event. But yeah, and there you are, spawned right next to it, and obviously we know that thing's coming, so you can run away from it into caves. Caves for safety. We've also seen these caves before. More on that in the next day or two. That's all I'm going to say, but there is Dominus Thrax's head again. But he's sitting on the throne where you started from. Yeah. I still don't understand this whole point. You're trying to get away from Dominus Thrax, but this giant statue of him puts his hand out, and that's the in-game event in the bottom right. I was there, I did cover that. I'm going to do that after this, but obviously I have to do this first. But pay attention, the islands aren't moving, the hand is. Because the hand seems to be going to the face. And this... Oh, I instantly called it. First off, I called this back in December. And then they had the Angels of the Zaramon stuff, and everybody pretty much at that point knew what was going to happen here. But, yeah, okay. They went and showed this before Tennocon, and this is basically not what everybody thinks it is. Yes, that right there would be 3 frames sitting covered in moss and everything else. I don't know if they're going to actually show this correctly when we go in here. Yes, okay. Non-blurry version, please. Excalibur, Volt, Mag, the 3 starting frames. This is not the same as the opening quest to the game, because this is a completely different room. This is a cave. They're in a temple. They're in one of the Orokin towers. This is a cave. This is a different site to what happened originally. Oh, also, technically in the Paradox, the Tenno aren't rescued. That's what makes it a Paradox. And the Drifters don't have their abilities that the Tenno have. So these things don't exist. Warframes do not exist in the Paradox. Just want to make that 100% clear here. And those people who go on about lore and me not knowing much, yeah, that's because I know it, I just love to butcher it because it winds people up something not right. But, yeah, in the Paradox, in the Duviri Paradox, where the Drifter exists, it's because, I'm not going into the lore of it all, but they weren't rescued, so they don't have void powers. They don't know how to control Warframes. For God's sake, it's about to demonstrate that. So these things wouldn't be here. At all. Just no. Technically, I knew what was coming, but when I first saw this, obviously this is afterwards, but yeah, okay. Weird noises. That's Teshin's shoes. Oh, could that possibly be because it's Teshin and he's not dead and woohoo, he's in the Duviri Paradox? If only we'd known this since the Angels of the Zaramon update came out and we got into our own little Doma zone where his swords were sitting because they are in the Duviri Paradox. I would love to know why they're talking right here. First off, the subtitles for this were pathetic because there's a lot of them that were missing, like when he picks up the hand. But he's talking about finally picking up the hand and it not being the first time and him waiting for ages. And god damn, I don't know what he has in his hand, but why does Teshin always have the good stuff? He had the dual wielding swords. Now he has that. I want that. So badly. But for those people who kept telling me Teshin is dead, Teshin is not alive, Teshin is gone, for all that Era does is crush his helmet. He doesn't kill Teshin. Everybody's, he breaks his neck, he breaks his neck, he breaks his neck. No, he crushed the helmet. The helmet isn't his head. A lot of people say it's his neck. I disagree. Everybody has their own version of what happened. I didn't write it. I don't know if it's supposed to be his neck or not, but you can see right there. The Drifters cannot control Warframes. Therefore, Warframes won't exist. They were made by Ballas. Ballas made Umbra, the first Warframe. Though technically the Entrati made the... Yep. We're not talking about the Void Machines. Nope. But, yeah. Yep. You can read that one correctly. Teshin says, "Take my old blades if you want a chance with that mockery of a Dax." Teshin is basically the most badass Dax there is. And he has, in here, grown old. This is many years after whatever happened that sent him here to begin with. Wherever here is... You son of a, hide it with the camera. That is well done. They are hiding the swords with the Drifter. I've wanted these things for absolutely years. I have stated it for so long. I've wanted these things. There they are. They have pretty much 100% confirmed we are going to be getting a hold of Sun and Moon finally. No. Not the Pokemon games, the dual-wielding ceremonial Nikanas that Teshin uses. And then we get to use the swords, taking out his champion. Oh, wait. The cowardly knight must face the king's champion. Didn't they refer to us? Denphius. They're probably pronouncing that wrong. This is the guy off the horseback. This is the guy that cut us up earlier. This is basically every single Dax that is running around using Excalibur abilities. So, turns out the Excalibur's abilities, slash and dash and... Well, that's not slash dash, it's basically the Exalted Blade. Sorry, I apologise to the Excalibur users there. It's Exalted Blade you can do that with. That. Yeah. Well, there's other melee weapons you can do it with. One that I can actually think of. Turns out that they stole it from the Dax, which is a possibility because when the Warframes were created, the Dax were still around. Hence the reason we have the original trailer from the Spider-Man movie where we're fighting alongside the Dax to take on the Grineer before we take our long sleep, and the Dax and Grineer and everybody else leave. Don't know why they would leave and wouldn't finish off the Warframes. That would stop them being used again, but never mind. Such is Warframe. Lots of unanswered questions. But yes, we finally get to use these. I'm hoping these are not a Drifter-specific melee weapon. Especially since the hand charges them up so you can finish him off. Because, should probably point something out here. It's kind of in the sky, and it's a giant face with fire in the mouth, and the eyes flash whenever Dominus Thrax is speaking. So that's Dominus Thrax, yet again, in a different form. We've had him in a giant statue, we've had him sitting on his throne, and now we have him as a giant smoke monster in the sky. But hey, what could possibly top getting hold of Teshin's swords? How about taking out a giant dragon? Because they'll keep referring to it as a dragon. The three guys at the top referred to it as a dragon. The Londus. How could they top this? Well, first off, there isn't an actual horse here for us to use. So you may want to take that middle one, especially when you see what this horse is about to do. Because my first response was, well, didn't see that coming. In the slightest, or the fact that it's not going down, it's flying level. Oh, that is great. But, yeah, we are basically fighting the giant worm in the sky, and it's shooting fireballs at us. Come on, the horse flies, and is now going down. Don't know if we have time-limited kind of flight times or what this is, but come on. The horse isn't just badass looking. It flies, it's got wings. I really hope that is abilities that the horses have when this comes out and isn't some stupid thing just for this. What could possibly happen next? As the horse freaks out, everything goes to colour. And it ended. With basically Dominus Thrax asking who is trying to help him, why is he trying to leave, and then deciding, if he wants to leave that badly, maybe I should go and see him. Why? Meaning, Dominus Thrax is basically going to come out of the paradox and probably bring the Duviri Paradox with him, because he says he has to go and see for himself who is trying to help them. And pause. Not to mention the fact that the horse on the left is different to the horse on the right, which is different to the horse in the middle on the left to the horse on the right in the middle. Sorry, I've just got to go to the end of the other trailer that says this is coming winter of 2022. First day of winter 2022 will be, I believe it's a Wednesday, the 21st of December 2022. Dear Digital Extreme, fact check much? Try autumn. Because if you release this thing on the 21st or the 22nd, because they usually go on holiday around the 22nd or 23rd for the studio's closed for the holiday season, so I really doubt it's going to be that close to when they disappear for about 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, that should have said autumn 2022. And it needs to come out before the end of November, because as every update they ever do that releases in December has taught everybody, apart from them, it's always broken and left broken over the holiday break, and then they come back, spend a month fixing it, by which point it's too late, the damage is already done, nobody wants to play it anymore. The new War player base was gone before the studio had actually closed. The damage that did was irreversible. Hopefully they don't do it again, especially since this is a massive open world and looks like it's going to be great. If they can actually pull this off and release it when it's supposed to be pulled off. Pulled out? Yeah, I already know someone's voice clipping that one, but we're going to move on anyway. When it should come out. And it should have came out summer, end of summer, autumn. It should say autumn 2022, because then people are going to go, ooh, it's going to come out after the summer. That would be September, October, or November, by the way. Technically, I think autumn starts the end of September. That I can never remember. I know when winter starts and when winter ends, that's it. I believe it's around the 20th of March is when winter is going to end. But it could be the 21st. Not sure. First day of summer, I do believe, is the 21st of June. Autumn, I never ever know that one. You just usually go by the weather. Is it getting cold? Yeah, must be coming to autumn. Is it icy? Yep, it's winter. Is the ice melted? Yep, spring. Is it hot? Yep, summer. There you go. Anyway, it all looked amazing, and honestly, the one thing that I expected them to announce, after they didn't announce it, I didn't expect them to end with. This, what they ended with, we were all expecting it. As soon as, because in case you missed it, Steve basically turned around and said him and some of the other team members are leaving to work on something else, and it was like, yep, we all know where you're going. So with that, enjoy what's coming.
It began as song, pitched sweet and solemn. They that heard came hollow, fallen. Their children raised in castles loft, made hunters grave, of others not.
Remember this. We are a family.
Yet beyond the pale of Odin's sky live verdant fields of rain and wild, where omen beasts of Alka's lost remember still and tell the ghost. So listen well. Envoys of shame, and bear their souls within your frame. Find your spirit, your grace renewed, and return to earth, her power true. join us, won't you?